making us aware of all the cause and effect of everything, right?
Right.
And the cause, obviously, is Earth being selfish and only, well, I'm talking about man, but what we're doing to the environment, and obviously the polar ice caps and everything else, it has to have some kind of repercussion. But I hate to say it, it is going to intensify. Next August is not going to be very good. And then I'm talking about more, even in Europe, it's going to be affected. I'm seeing towards Russia, as far extensively as Russia, all kinds of weather changes where it's usually cold. It's all the degrees are moving up. We've got flooding. We've got a major earthquake coming. I'm looking at near 9, somewhere in Asia, around about July. I'm sorry to say. And it's really not to do with the tectonic plates. It's something else. But it's definitely a shift. So that doesn't sound too good, I'm afraid.
No, that's okay. It's good to be mindful of those things. But anyway, so when you do your readings and you do, because you do them at the Body, Mind, Spirit Expos, the Holistic Living Expos, and different expos, what is it that you try to convey to people? I mean, what is it? Because you're always booked, you're very popular, you do a lot of talks. What is it the most important thing that you try to convey to people when someone asks you for a reading?
Okay, the first thing I say is, which some people find to be redundant, quite frankly, it's not that I am blunt and very, very brutally honest, as all my clients know. And if you don't want to hear the truth, the real truth, not what you want to hear, which people perceive they want to hear, some people, that's all I want them to know, is that I will be brutally honest. And I always ask Spirit to bring the people who really want and need to grow. And as you know, I am pretty much booked half the time, most of the time. And that, and 99.9 are the people who are on a path. No offense, that it's not one who comes in and says, I'd like to know if Johnny's going to like me next week. It's not that.
Or what are the winning lottery numbers for me?
Exactly. Seriously, those ones I know, there's the reasons they've sent me those people, but I grit my teeth and do it. But again, I'm honest, but basically it's people who are totally, there's such a shift, and you, of all people, know this. You're so sensitive to, because of your work and your background, that the energy is definitely changing. Next year is going to be huge, and just the beginning. We haven't even stepped on the first step of this new millennium. And quite frankly, in the readings that I give, I usually try, but Spirit guides the person to really focus where they need to be at that time, because they're usually lost. They have tools that they've been given, or gifts they've been given, they don't know how to use it. So really, basically, that reading is really from just honesty and guidance to their next step, which I usually try and help with the classes I teach.
Right. So what are some things that you find that people are really struggling with right now on a day-to-day basis in your class? Because, I don't know if you saw this, but on Dateline last month, they said that more people than ever before, Darshini, are looking to mediums, to psychics, because of things like the stock market, because of the uncertainty, because they feel that, they've kind of been told the same stuff over and over again that just doesn't work, so they're looking for different alternatives. What is it what do you hear is the biggest concern on people's minds right now, the time of uncertainty and the time of change that we're going through right now?
Yeah, they just want to be, in a way, where it's like the housekeeper, in a way, what they're saying. That's what we are. We're like, they come home to be told that, there's chicken soup on the stove, everything's going to be okay. And basically, it's not even for advice, which obviously they do ask for deadlines. Is my market money going to be okay? But it's basically really to do with, how the growth of where they're going to be, and they're going to be all right. In a way, they know it, but you and I both know when we read that they don't see the whole forest, they only see the tree. So it's very frustrating for them because they can taste it and feel it, but they don't have the tools for it to read it. But they're really not looking for, am I going to be out of work? Even some of my people in my class actually don't even have jobs, and they're desperate to gain the tools, but they have the confidence and spirit to grow and, find what they really need to do. And you know what? Again, why are we being put in this horrible situation, most of us, where we are backed against the wall, we're losing homes, we're losing our, I'm seeing people losing other than homes, their jobs, everything. But you know what? It's to rediscover yourself. If you're in a constant comfort square where you can access, the remote control, the TV, whatever, your food and everything, you don't want to step out of your comfort square. So they have shaken us up, and that's what it's going to be for the next 18 to 22 months, is shake up, because they want us to not only grow, but to find out what our real love is, what we can achieve, how the biggest potential within ourselves. But we're so scared that we don't even want to step out of that. I don't know if you agree with that, Mark.
Well, yeah, I've said that our biggest fear is expanding, but in order to expand, you have to be still. The saying in the Bible, to be still and know that I am. And it's talking about remembering that the presence of God is within you, or Christians call it the Holy Spirit. If you go to Egypt, they call it the Amun Ra. The Amun is the invisible one, and so I think that's true. And I know that I've been, because my life has gotten so crazy in the last year, that I've been meditating more, and it's definitely helped me. It was like today I was talking to someone about wines, and I was at the resort today here in Bonita Springs, and all of a sudden this voice came to me and said, do not focus on that which is seen. And we forget, we forget that. We become so caught up in what is seen, and we forget, that teaching that says, do not focus on that which is seen.
That's right. That's so right.
Yeah, I've had tremendous change in the past year, and I think we're even experiencing. My friend Mike Dooley from the Secret, he emailed me the other day. He said, Mark, this is the year that you're coming into that you've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah, it'll happen very fast too, Mark.
We'll see what happens. Is that one of those, be careful for what you wish for?
Yeah, I keep on telling people. I got this whole thing about a candle. I always give that out. But the miracles of the candle. But people come back to me and said, and they're holding their head in their hands. And, you told me to be careful, and I thought I was careful, and I got everything I wanted, so what's your problem? It's so sad. But they learn. Be careful how you structure your sentences.
Right. So, if someone was interested in becoming a medium or doing mediumship, do you have any recommendations, any words of wisdom, or classes that you offer that help people with that?
Yeah, I think everybody, I do have classes which I started developing since a year and a half. I've got up to 25 now. It's got a bit crazy. But quite frankly, for me, I was taught a totally different way, and I don't know how you were nurtured by spirit, but they only allowed me to have one class about nearly 30 years ago in New Jersey by a science teacher, and that was it. They had all the classes. Every time I tried to sign up, or even books, I have a ton of books, but I never read them. They nurtured me a different way. So what I've done is use those tools, the way they taught me, to teach other people. But obviously, some are good audio, some are more clairvoyant, some are more clairsentient, etc. So, I try and bring everybody's senses up in different levels and enhance them. So there's lots of exercises and different classes that I teach in order to do that. And the main one is, which we can talk about later, but it's a transformational series, which is now, it was 8, but now it's about 18 classes total. But people are going through it and changing their lives. But everything's a step process, I think. You agree, Mark. You can't just change with a little popping a pill, which we're so used to.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So everything's a step process that you have to actually clean out your backyard, your memories. That's mirror. You actually get regressed to just before you're actually, when you were in spirit, but before, after your, how can I say this, after you have ended your previous life. So you're actually in pure spirit. Then you get regressed to the time just after that where you are cognizant of your parents, who they're going to be, but you're still in spirit. So you're picking up all kinds of unseen and subliminal messages and thoughts and reactions. So you start forming at that time, even well before you're conceived, by the way. About 13, 14 months before you're conceived, this happens. And you are regressed to that point, and people actually don't want to come back. I have to drag half of them back from spirit. They're so comfortable in that spot just before they start making that connection to life here. But there are a lot of lessons that, closure we have to achieve, lessons that we have to recognize that we did grow on, but we never really acknowledged it. So that's all through that. And then the Mirror class actually pushes everybody into specific times in their life that they have experienced either trauma or something that has a significance in their life that they have to acknowledge before moving forward. We have to take not only the cobwebs, but we have to repair some things in our lives. Even though it could be atrocious and horrible, horrendous in some people's lives, they are the ones that those are the ones that really made us grow and who have made us who we are.
Right. So, Jerry Hicks talks about that he started playing with the Ouija board, and he started doing different things, and he realized that there were some spirits out there, and his words were dumber than doornails, and the other spirits were very intelligent and very truthful. And in your experience, the word that's coming to me is discernment. I mean, how have you learned discernment between a spirit or a guide that is just bambling nonsense versus someone that is evolved and telling truthful? Yes.
Yeah, and who's on a higher plane.
Right.
Well, how I describe them is that there is the true spirit guide who has never manifested on Earth, who's, even though they have personalities, I mean, most of them are jokesters, but they have definite personalities, and they have forms that I could see, and obviously they communicate. But the other level is the one that it could come from anywhere, as you said, from kind of a low spirit or to a higher spirit, and those are the ones who are the people who are passed on, who are connected to the person, attached to the person, and want to communicate. And you could get, and it's usually the mafia grandmothers, I call them. They're very, very strong, and they're the ones who come in immediately and with this mafia-type mentality. But everyone has it, and I describe them, and they're very, very vocal. But then you do get very few that I've been I don't know about lucky, but Spirit has been very specific in guiding or letting it through certain people. I think there's only one who's been very negative in all the time I've been reading. So I don't really like to allow them unless they've got a specific message. And usually it's one of atonement.
Right.
So.
Okay, Darshini, we're going to take a little break here for about 90 seconds, and if anyone has a question for Darshini or me, the number to call is 347-205-9349. That's 347-205-9349. This is Mark Patterson, Dynamic Transformations, and we're on with Darshini and Spirit. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. All right, hold on.